Tazewell Parish School Board meeting is beginning, and we will have the Pledge of Allegiance, and we would like for all veterans and active military, please render the proper salute. Mr. Mingus will lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Jenkins, roll call.
Ms. Richards?
Present.
Mr. Taylor?
Here.
Ms. Abrams?
Here.
Mr. Westmoreland?
Present.
Mr. Duncan?
Here.
Mr. Bush?
Present.
Mr. Moore?
Here.
Ms. Sims?
Here.
Mr. Mingus?
Present.
Consider approval of the Board of Minutes of July 16th, 2019. Do I have a motion by Mr. Toller, a second by Mr. Mingus? Any objection? Motion passes. Ready? I don't want to go too fast. All right, academic update, 2A, update on Teach Tangi, Ms. Spring.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
I just wanted to give you an update and kind of answer questions if you have any about our new alternate certification program that we started this year. You have some information there in front of you. We started the process in August. We were approved in April. And then there's some different eligibility requirements there, and I think it's important to know the eligibility requirements because these are mandated by the state for these people to be in our alternate certification program. 2.5 GPA is a must. Praxis 1 and 2, they have to have passed that to be in our program. And then there's a little bit more information there for you. We are offering 18 different certifications through our program, and our program goes through 4 different phases. Right now, we are starting the final phase with our first cohort. Our first cohort started in April. They have been spent most of the month of July in classes. That's their direct instruction that they spend 8 hours a day, 23 days, 8 hours a day in direct instruction. I also gave you a list of our alternate certification faculty and what they taught during the classes that they were teaching. I think it's important that we recognize them also because they've been a very important part of our process here. I'm going to ask Miss Debbie Abrams. She's one of the members of our first cohort. She's going to come speak with you from the teacher candidate side, what this program has done for them, and then I'll be here to answer any questions that you have when she's finished.
Thank you and good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
We are, on behalf of the first Tangi Teach cohort, we came to say thank you for offering the program. It was great. All the teachers and the presenters, they were passionate, they were efficient, they were great in their areas of expertise, and we are thrilled at all the things that we learned through the program. Myself, I'm going for the special education in high school biology for Amite High School. Another candidate, Jennifer Barnes, she's first grade at Woodland Park. Another candidate, Julie Bertucci, she's first and second grade combo at Roseland. And then Miss Kayla Jackson, who's here with me, she's 7th and 8th grade middle school math teacher at Neeson Middle School. And then Jamie Mills is a resource teacher and self-contained for 1st to 3rd grade. And then we have Cassandra Robinson Dyson, who is the 8th grade math teacher at Hammond East Side. So we all completed the class. We were thrilled. We were happy that it was free, and we didn't have to try to come up with $4,500, and which would have been hard. So we participated for the regular ed teachers. It was 17 days, and then 2 of us were special ed. It was 23 days. We learned a lot about rigor and pacing and Tier 1 curriculum and a lot of academic jargon. We learned that the best teachers are reading teachers. And so you probably know who that came from, Dr. Baker, right? But we loved it. We're going to be pushing literacy hard across all the subjects. It was great to go through Tangi because we were able to receive the vision of the school board, and that we learned a lot about backwards design lesson planning, based on standards, goals, assessments, and student performance, as well as our own teaching efficacy. We learned about resources that are available online through the state and parish, technology tips. We learned classroom management strategies. We learned about diverse learners, 504s, IEPs, social and emotional learning, so that we can create a trauma-informed culture for all learners. And we just thank you, and we are ready to be great, respectful, and compassionate teachers. And again, we say thank you, and you should try to expand it. It's unfortunate more people didn't take advantage of it, but it's a great program, and I think it would be great to expand it. And I think it gives the new teachers coming in buy-in and be able to see the vision of the school board. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is there any questions you have about the program? Anyone? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Item 3A, consider committee reports. A is Capital Outlay Committee of the Whole, July 16th, 2019. Need a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the capital outlay.
All right, motion by Ms. Dominguez. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Richards. Any opposition? Motion passes. Item 3B, Personnel Committee, August 5th, 2019. I need a motion.
I make a motion to accept.
Ms. Richards makes the motion to accept. Do I have a second?
I'll make a second.
Ms. Robbins, second. Any opposition? Motion passes. Do we need to?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Madam President. We would like to recognize our new principal at O.W. Dillon Leadership School, Ms. Henrietta Vernon. Would you come up, Ms. Vernon? Congratulations. Congratulations. Would you like to speak to the board?
Yes. First, I give my obedience to God, who is the head of my life. Without him, I know none of this would be possible. To say that I am excited is an understatement. I am honored to be the principal at the O.W. Dillon Leadership Academy. And when I tell you I hit the jackpot, I did. To the selection committee, to Ms. Stilley, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to lead. Also, I want to thank my O.W. Dillon staff that is here. Great group of people who are passionate about student achievement.
Could you stand up, please?
Yeah. Y'all stand up.
I'm so proud to work with each and every last one of them. They work hard, they really do.
Yes.
I also want to thank my mentor, Mr. Wallace. He gave me the opportunity 4 years ago to step into a leadership role, and I am forever grateful to him. I learned a lot along the way, so thank you. To my family that's here,
Yes.
Would you
up,
stand
family.
too,
Yes.
please?
they have been with me through this educational journey all the way. So they're very supportive, and I'm thankful for that. My mission, my vision for O.W. Dillon is that every student be able to read and comprehend by the time they leave us. And we want to equip them with those 21st century skills where they need to collaborate, communicate, create, and think critically, especially for this global society that we're in right now. So I'm ready. I'm ready. I think that's all but just thank you. I'm ready.
We wish you well. Thank you, Ms. Vernon.
Thank you. Anybody else with the personnel? All right, next item. Did you have something? Okay. Superintendent's reports or recommendations. 4A, update on the status of the cyber attack.
Yeah, Mr. Diaz is going to update our board.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I want to give you an update on where we stand after the cyber attack in the rebuild process. I'll try to keep it as brief as I can. Just so we know, to explain a little bit about this attack and the type of attack it is. It's an attack that infects your system. It locks down your files to where they're encrypted and you don't have access to those. Okay, this isn't one of those types of attack where you're stealing data or any of that type of thing. I just want to make you guys aware of that. We haven't had any kind of data breaches in that way. That said, the type of attack that it is, it leads you to have to completely wipe your system and start from scratch, just so you take the element of reinfection out, okay? So we've handled this in 3 different ways. We're going about this in 3 parallel ways. We have to address our infrastructure, we have to address our hardware, and we have to address the applications that we run in the district. Okay, so first for infrastructure, we've done a complete rebuild of our entire server farm. That's about 200 servers that we have to rebuild between AMET and the school system, the different schools in the parish. Reconfiguration of firewalls, routers, switches, all the network hardware, complete reconfiguration. Creation of a new Microsoft environment, so all of our Active Directory, that includes user accounts, email addresses, cloud storage, access to cloud storage, critical services, computer device access to the internet, etc. That system basically controls everything that a user does on their computer. We're also having to rebuild the wireless infrastructure from the ground up. We already have the access points in place. We have the wireless infrastructure built. We just need to configure that. We also have, by the way, all of our Microsoft intranet and environment already built. We've spun up more than 45 servers already just this week, so we're well on our way there. We will be adding user accounts tomorrow so we can get our users the access that they need on the computers once our computers are imaged. So that's basically the infrastructure part of it. Obviously, I'm leaving a few things out, but for detail's sake and for brevity, we'll go next to hardware. We have about 28,000 devices in the district total. Of those devices, about 10 or 11,000 of them are Windows devices. Those devices have to be touched and completely reloaded. This does not affect the Chromebooks, the Chromebook carts that we have in the system, so those are still operational. And the plan is to get this wireless infrastructure up, to have those Chromebooks for first day of school, just like everything else. The 10 to 11,000 Windows devices that we have, at end of day today, we've already touched about 60% of them. So I'm hoping by Thursday we'll have all of those computers wiped and reloaded and ready to go. We've also, at the point that the computers are re-imaged, we also have to go back and touch those devices. We're going to do that starting tomorrow to load things like printers, for instance, and some user-based applications on the computers that are critical for the start of school. We're starting that process tomorrow and should have that process done as well by Thursday. Printers, productivity apps, access to mission-critical apps like OnCourse, access to user documents. Those are all things that the schools need for the first day of school. Again, those things will be in place by Thursday or Friday. We are running a test at one of our biggest locations starting Thursday to make sure that they have everything that they need prior to school starting, so we can do a gap analysis, make sure we're not missing anything that the administration needs, office needs, access to OnCourse for printing schedules so they can do attendance, all the daily activities that the office staff do. We are also in the process of rebuilding our school servers to host our testing environment. Each school, like I said, has a server farm at each location. We are also now in the process of re-imaging all of those. We have about half of those done as well, so then we can spin up testing environments. So we have early windows for testing that we need to meet. Getting smart boards connected in the classroom. Obviously, our teachers have gotten acquainted and used to having those smart boards so they can project their lessons to their students. We're in the process of getting that software back on the computers as we re-image them. Like I said, Chromebooks were not affected, so they will be able to be used as soon as we get the wireless internet up. Applications, the third line that we're going down. mission-critical apps like Munis for financials, Edulog for transportation, food service, sales tax. We're already in meetings with vendors and have been all week. We have the infrastructure already rebuilt for our financial system. We're in the process of getting that data put back in. We have the infrastructure for transportation rebuilt. We're in the process of getting that data put back into the system. We're in talks with sales tax already for the vendor to start building that process. They're telling me that's a one-day process to get that built, but we have to coordinate that and get that data back in. But there's plenty of critical services that are on the list. Food services, we need cameras up for security at the schools. Lots of different avenues that we still have to approach. But we will be operational for critical services and everything for the start of school on Monday. You have any questions for me? Any specific questions for me at this time?
Mike, can you, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, can I say something?
Madam Chairman,
Oh.
I'd like to waive the rules and ask for a unanimous vote that we add executive session to our agenda so that we can discuss the legal ramifications of what we need to do.
All right, do we have a second to that?
Second.
All right,
And that vote needs to be unanimous.
all right. Any objection to that? All right, so
Okay?
moved.
Then, having that motion passed, then I move that we enter into executive session to discuss the legal aspects of the cyber attack.
All right, we need a second? Second. Mr. Mingus, any objection? No objection? That's what we'll do.
Thank you very much.
Channel 17, proudly serving the Florida parishes.
Y'all took my copy, but we're going to go ahead and skip to take up agenda item 5A at this time. Is that what we're?
Yeah, do you have the copy?
No, but I would, at this time, move that we adopt the resolution as presented by council and our administration.
Do we not need to read it?
I can read it, if somebody can give it to me.
I second it.
All right. The resolution reads as follows: to certify the existence of a public emergency and to provide notice of such emergency as required by Louisiana Revised Statute 38:2212P. Whereas on July 28, 2019, the Tangipahoa Parish School System experienced a cybersecurity breach of its technology systems and business infrastructure. And whereas this severe and intentional cyber attack of the school system, employee, vendor, and other data caused the operating system to shut down. And whereas this cybersecurity breach affects the entire school system and hinders preparations for the start of the 2019-2020 school year and the continued operations of the school system, therefore be it resolved that the Tangipahoa Parish School Board, at a legally convened meeting, hereby declares the existence of a public emergency as a result of the cybersecurity breach. And be it further resolved that the superintendent is directed to provide notice of such emergency in accordance with Louisiana Revised Statute 38:2212P. And be it further resolved that the Tangipahoa Parish School Board grants the superintendent the authority to take all necessary and appropriate actions, including but not limited to contracting and working with specialized individuals, companies, and vendors to recover and restore the school system's technology and operating system as quickly as possible, and take measures to protect and prevent a future breach of its cybersecurity systems. This is to certify that the above is a true, well, that's the totality of the resolution.
All right, we need a motion then to adopt. that
And we have a
resolution.
motion and a second. Is that right?
You already had the motion and second? Who seconded it? Okay. All right, any objection?
Ask for a roll call vote, Ms.
Roll call vote.
Madam President.
Ms. Richards?
She wants you to skip her and come back to her.
Yes.
Mr. Toller?
With reservations, yes.
Ms. Abrams?
Which much reservation, yes.
Mr. Westmoreland,
Yes.
Mr. Duncan,
Yes.
Mr. Bush.
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Dominguez.
Yes.
Ms. Richards,
Reservations, yes.
Ms. Simmons.
Yes. Okay, motion passes. All right, we're on item 4B. Consider approval to refer policy JCDAE, student use of electronic devices, to the policy committee. Motion?
I'll make a motion to refer.
Motion by Mr. Mingus, we need a second by Mr. Toller. Any objection? Motion passes. All right, for C, general update for back to school.
Thank you, Madam President. Our teachers and our 9-month employees started back today from their summer break. Our district will have its PD day this week, as well as the rally on Friday as planned. We will have it at the University Center on Friday, and Southeastern has been very gracious in allowing us to use a lot of their facilities, the Kiva building and some of their breakout rooms for professional development. Despite the cyber attack that struck us last week, our students will begin on Monday, August the 12th, as planned. We have on-course, so we can do we have schedules and the attendance and discipline, all that we need for students. We are updating our bus routes. We have highlighted bus routes that we'll be posting on our website and social media for parents. We'll be getting that information out later in the week. Our school food service team are working to prepare for the free breakfast and the free lunch that our students have every day at school. We have the essentials to start school. We have faculty and staff, we have buses, we have drivers, we have schedules, we have food in the cafeteria. All of our people have pulled together during this time to make it happen for our students to start on Monday. I would like to say that the first few days, of course, will be bumpy. There'll be a few speed bumps there because of the cyber attack on our technology system, and we ask the public, the parents, the students, our employees, and everyone to be patient during those first few days. But rest assured, we will get through this start of school, and I believe it's going to be our best year yet.
Okay, thank you very much. Any comments? All right, we're on 5A, other board action.
We've already done that.
We just did that one.
Oh, where are we?
B.
We're on 5B now.
Okay, discuss and consider the superintendent's final evaluation. First, I wanted to ask Ms. Steele, do you want us to do this in open or closed session?
Open, please,
Open.
Madam President.
All right, at this point, then, I will read the scores, the final scores for each domain, and then of course, we can discuss it as a board if you so like.
I thought we were going to do just the overall.
We are. I'm gonna do each domain.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's out of 4 points. So domain 1 was policy and governments. She got a 3.77 out of 4 points. Domain 2, instructional leadership, received a 3.79 out of 4. And domain 3, planning and assessment, 3.82 out of 4. And then domain 4, organizational management, 3.68 out of the 4. And then domain 5, communication and community relations, 3.85. Domain 6 is professionalism, 3.93. And then the overall evaluation of all of the domains together by the board members is 3.81 out of the 4.0. And then I'd like to open the floor for any discussion or any comments from board members, or even Ms. Stilley, too. Any comments?
I will say that participating in the process, it was a very easy and constructive process. And things were brought up, positive and negative, and we discussed them out, and we had a very constructive meeting. I thought it was very good.
All right, any other comments or questions, or?
I would like to say that the scores that I personally gave didn't reflect on things that she did not do. It reflected on things that I didn't know if she had done. Because I could not score her on something that I don't see her do on a day-to-day basis. So it wasn't on something that I didn't feel like she didn't do. It's just because I don't see her do it on a day-to-day basis. It's in the field. So that's why some of my scores came back the way they did. But I feel like overall that Ms. Stilley has brought this school board to a whole new level.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any other comments? And also, Ms. Steely will have the copies so that you can look at them, she'll review them and see the areas that she wants to or needs to improve on in the future.
They're on your computer.
I do have, I guess.
Not on the computer. Go ahead.
I did, I guess, on the, one thing, overall, I just want to say, I think that Ms. Stilley has done a really great job, especially considering the fact, and I think a lot of us kind of forget this, over the course of the year, but, this was her first year ever being a superintendent. And I think, in a way, it's unfair to expect that someone who's serving their first year as a superintendent is going to perform like a 10-year veteran. And I don't know that some of us maybe took that into account, but also she still is also a superintendent that is facing difficulties that almost no other superintendent has to deal with, which is, number one, dealing with a very complicated, difficult desegregation case, and number two, running a school system that is the least funded school system in the state of Louisiana on a per pupil basis when it comes to local funding. And despite all of that, like I said, she has done a really, really good job. So we ought to give her kind of extra credit for having to overcome, all of those difficulties. But anyway, so I want to thank her for the job that she's done, and I think we all look forward to the year ahead. And of course, she's starting that year off with yet another
Difficulty.
great obstacle to overcome. So we'll see how it goes.
All right.
But
Anybody?
just to reiterate that scale, 1 through 4, and she ended up with a 3.81, which is nine different evaluations that came together with an average. So we need to put that in the form of a motion to accept that evaluation.
Well, I want to make some comments too.
Well, right after you do that.
Okay. Anybody else have any comments? Okay, we had a chance to put some verbal comments on our evaluation forms, and I'd like to read a couple of mine, and I wrote that one of Mrs. Stilley's strongest gifts is her ability to remain calm in very stressful situations, and I was amazed because I couldn't have done that. I'm amazed at Ms. Stilley's ability to be everywhere that she needs to be, and she is involved in all visible aspects of this system. I also, I wrote down the things that I actually saw her doing, and another one is, I realized that I didn't have a lot of negative things to say yet, but that's because I gave her the benefit of the doubt, because the things that were so obvious were so strong that's how I scored her. The last thing, Miss Stilley is one of the most gifted, high-performing educators, and I've been around a lot of them for years, that I've ever met. She is down to earth, she has a great sense of humor, and she relates with all individuals. And in summary, I have been impressed with Miss Stilley's ability to not micromanage her staff and allows them to function fully in their capacity. I also sense that her staff is respectful of her capabilities as superintendent. That's what I pick up from those people that work with her. All right, any other comments before we accept the evaluation? All right, need a motion?
Motion so moved.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Dominguez. Any opposition? Motion passes. Okay? The next item is personal privilege. Board members. That would be
I'm good tonight.
Ms. Abrams. You said enough? Okay, Mr. Duncan.
Just want to compliment the technology department and all of the central office staff that has had to kind of guide us and navigate us through this cyber attack. You know, again, our school system, for all of its things that we certainly want to improve on, we, by necessity, have apparently gotten very, very good at dealing with emergency type situations, because we face them over and over, whether it's the floods, whether it's the fires, whether it's, you know, I don't know, we could just go on, but, you know, we are, you know, the fact that we do face them, we still get through them, we persevere. You know, I think we have to compliment the administration for that, and thank them for their hard work.
All right, Ms. Richards? Mr. Toller?
Yeah, just welcome all the teachers back to the classrooms today. And, you know, we've heard a lot of things over the past few years about prayer not being at the schools, or not having prayer in our public schools. But I went to 3 schools today, this afternoon, after school was out, where teachers were walking the halls praying with parents over the school. So if that's not a testimony that I want to share, I don't know what would be. So our school needs more prayer, and I applaud the teachers that took the initiative to make that happen.
And I often see on Facebook, we need God back in our schools, but, you know, I don't think he ever left.
They didn't.
All right, Ms. Stilley, you have anything?
I just want to thank the board for the evaluation and your vote of confidence. And, you know, I've always said that I loved an adventure, and I loved a challenge. And, you know, God has a sense of humor, because I've had lots of those in this first year and a few months. But I can't think of a better board that I would want to work with than this group. And also our team sitting at this table, and Mr. Schneidelbach sitting there on this first row. They're wonderful to work with. And I can tell you, any score that I have is a result of this team. And there's more. You know, our principals, Lisa Fussell, that heads up academics. I could go on and on. We have our head of nursing out here. It's everyone working together. So really, this is a team evaluation. I feel like it is, rather than a Miss Stilley evaluation. So hats off to all of our team members that make it work every day. Thanks.
How about your number 1 team member, Mr. Stilley? He's out there too.
Yeah.
And Mr. Stilley.
And grandkids.
And my grandkids.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Moore. You have something? Oh, I skipped Bush. All right.
I just did, that was it.
That was you? I mean, that was enough? All right, Mr. Moore.
I would just like to say that I also would like to commend the team. I mean, because most certainly we faced probably one of the most devastating things that we could have possibly faced, and the way that the guys responded to it, and the progress that we've made, and the position that we're in right now. I have nothing but hope that we're going to be able to get this back up and running, and then to just extend the welcome back, you know, for the teachers coming back. And I hope you enjoyed your vacation. I'm sending my grandson back out there to you, so you guys have got your hands full.
All right, Mr. Mangus.
Yes, just would like to thank all of our staff. This has been the most difficult week and a half I know that y'all have probably ever had in your whole entire life as an educator. And we're still not out of the woods. We have a long way to go to get back to normal. And we do appreciate y'all's diligence. It's been very trying for everybody. I'd also, looking forward to Friday, our rally. We got our little shirts today that we bought, and our parking pass. I appreciate that. I also want to make note in the minutes that Mr. Westmoreland, myself, Mr. Jerry Moore, and Ms. Janice Richard went to the Tri-State Conference in New Orleans last weekend, and we learned a lot. I think we had some great speakers, and so we got our education credits, and I was glad to see that, you know, 3 of our new board members were able to go, because it's very important to gain that knowledge, not having come from the education system as they have. So proud of y'all for going, and we note that in the minutes that we did that. Ms. Jenkins, thank you.
All right, Mr. Westmoreland.
I was going to say what Ms. Rose just saw. I definitely was glad that I went to the conference. I got to learn a lot. great speakers. Dale Brown, first time I got to see him publicly speak, and he is a great speaker. Learned a lot of things that I hope to be able to use here on the board. Congratulations to Miss Dilly. I think those are great numbers, but I know next year they'll probably be even higher. So I have no doubt about that. And last but not least, thank y'all in the technology department, the team, doing an excellent job and keeping us informed of what's going on. And we definitely can't do it without y'all. Thank y'all.
All right, any other comments? All right, no executive session?
Nope, already did it.
Oh, we need a motion to close. Okay, motion to close?
Adjourn.
Second? All right, meeting adjourned.